Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful guest back again is LaShonda Herring. And today we're going to be talking about your womb love. LaShonda says, I'm here to tell you you're an amazing woman. You're a diva, a queen, a goddess on the inside. You want something more out of life than what is presently showing up. She gets it. The womb love helps us create, connects to the past, connect to our relationship with others and ourselves. It's our guidance system. And we have chakras in our womb that affects our emotions. Did you know that, folks? I didn't know that, but this is the topic of conversation today. She's created a sacred place for women to get along, to get help along the journey to serve the tribe they were born to serve. She uses her toolbox, which is Reiki, hypnotherapy, law of attraction, metaphysical concepts, traditional education, BS in psychology, and MSW. She assists women in creating peace of mind so they can get clarity and their gifts and talents, which are then used to create financial security and abundance. And along the way, gain confidence and love who they truly are so they can stand in the power to create lifestyles that give them quality time with family, friends, without being exhausted, without being overwhelmed, a time for caring for themselves to recharge the battery without feeling guilt and feeling nurtured, supported, and loved. I think we have somebody here very, very qualified to talk about this today. And I'd love, we did the show recently with Shelley, Dr. Shelley Neglo, and it was on the sexual woman, of embracing our womanhood, embracing our sex as women. And you have a whole program that's going out on that. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But you brought up the womb in that, and it was like, what? Womb? What? Chakras? I want to know more, and I'm sure my audience does as well. So welcome to the show, LaShonda.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. This is so much fun for me. It really is.
Good. Well, we've got to make it fun, otherwise nobody listens, right? Though it is a serious topic, a lot of people don't even know what the chakras are. What does this mean? What are you talking about alignment? And, when we talk about taking that deep breath in and letting it out, it's actually aligning the chakras, isn't it? So that the chi, the energy, can go all the way through the chakras because they are our guidance and balancing system. But womb in the chakras? Oh, I'm fascinated. Do tell us more.
Yeah, so think about this. I think it's one of those things that we kind of forget sometimes is that the womb itself is its own system within our body, right? It's a place that gives birth, creates birth from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it make sense? It has its own energy center as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We forget that as women because we're just so going through the motions and we think about babies or we think about that time of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize that there's an internal system, not just the physical system that's working, but an energy system that's working. So the 7 main chakras that you have, in your whole entire body are also located in your womb. And they carry the same kind of energy. When we say that root chakra and we talk about how the root is about security and all of that, that same thing is happening within your womb. Even the sacral, even the voice, and we think about a womb as a voice, but think about it. It's speaking to you all the time. Most of the time, probably in a physical sense. If it's in pain, it's trying to tell you something. Something doesn't feel right. It's out of balance. It's speaking to you. So those chakras are definitely in that system.
Yeah, I've got some chakras right here, all the different colors and all the different places that they are and what they all mean. I'll put this up on the YouTube and also on the posting as well, so people can actually get to see the importance of the chakras. But we're inclined to just see ourselves as human, almost blobs. just the human matter, right? And you know what we're trying to do is get people to actually understand that they're a spiritual being in a human body. And there is all the mechanic. Nothing happens in our body without a reason. Right.
Mm,
Everything is
absolutely.
designed for something. And it's quite incredible when you stop and break it down to look at the mechanics of this body that when connected to spirit, connected to the chakras and the womb, just gives us all the possibilities we could want.
Oh, absolutely. And we sometimes forget because we're so in routine.
Yeah.
We do, and we
Yes.
don't stop. Like you just started this with breathing,
Yeah.
right? Because breathing gets us connected to say, oh, wait, there's more than
Mm.
just the doing. Every day we feel something, but we're trained as adults, right? Adulting, not to feel, right? So
Suck
we
it
are
up,
connected.
chin up, but stiff upper lip and all
Right.
that, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Boulder
So,
dash.
oh, oh my gosh. So we don't get in touch with that. And our
Right.
womb has that same thing for women. It's a beautiful built in guidance system that will tell us if we're in alignment, if we're off track, if something's not right in our life. Think about it when you've had partners in your life, right?
Mm.
If something doesn't kind of feel right, or after you've been intimate with them, it's like, my body's reacting differently. It's
Yes.
energy exchange.
Yes. Not just fluids, folks.
Right, exactly.
And
Exactly.
but a lot of the time I think if you making a connection with somebody of the opposite sex or same sex, whatever it is, if you're making that connection, stop and think for a moment, is this just a chemical, a
Mm,
bond here where, like, well, they turn me on, or is it an energetic one? Because
mm.
if it's an energetic one, you are going to dance together like could not think possible. If it's just a chemical one, well, it can leave you, after sorry, the wham bang, thank you, man. It goes like, well, what was that, right?
Right.
Because you didn't make the energy connection.
No. And here's the thing. This is the other piece. When you allow somebody to enter you as a woman, they're entering a sacred place, right?
Yeah.
So when they enter, like you said, they may leave fluids, but they leave their energy mark. So you are carrying that around.
Mm.
So now you've just changed your energy.
Wow, that is so huge. Let's stop there for a moment to really look at this. When we look at being with a partner for a long time, and I was mm, 20 years with my husband before I divorced, and a lot of those years we were very, very unhappy, and it always felt like my duty, to put out, so to speak, and but it got to be something resentful, and it already our energies were at odds, and it kind of became almost like a betrayal of myself to do this, because it was against my own energy to do it.
Yeah.
And eventually that's what really stopped me to say, no, we can't go any further. Um,
Mhm.
but oh yeah, that's a huge one. That one, that really is a huge one. That
Yeah.
they're sharing their energy with you on more than one level, and that can change your whole energy chemistry. And so that's a pause in anybody's life at the present moment, and
Yeah.
going, are you feeling drained? Could there possibly be the wrong energy with you?
Absolutely. And it's really important that we stop. We keep
Yes.
stopping and testing, and that's just a breath. Like, how am I feeling? What's my body going through? Do I feel like I'm in my, because we all have different levels of normal and pH
Yeah.
balances, and that's the physical part. But am I at my normal, or do I feel off? Does something not feel right? Because you're right. After that energy is left, if it's an energy you don't like, you've got to get rid of it.
Yes. Yes.
You've got to get
Purge
rid of
it.
that energy. Yes.
Yes.
For your own like
Yeah,
rejuvenation.
yes.
You
And to
absolutely
realign the
need to.
chakras again, too, because it's rather essential that our chakras are aligned, isn't it? It's very, very
Yes.
important.
Yeah, it's important for our physical body, because we say dis-ease, right?
Yes,
There's
yes.
something going on in there that's not feeling right. And when our emotions are constantly not feeling right, it will cause dis-ease in our body. It will eat away at things. It will cause like what I call the internal fights, right? Of our atoms and things like that fighting and not getting along and not producing the right things. But energetically, it also will send out energy of attracting the wrong things,
Oh, yes.
you
Oh,
know?
yes. You know, We say you are what you eat, you are what you think, and you are what you put out.
Yes.
What you get
Yes.
back is just a reflection of your own inner self. So if you don't like it, it's
Totally.
time to look in.
That's it.
Yeah,
And so that's why that pause is important. And
yeah,
for us women, that womb can be a really great guide,
yes,
because women who carry around what I call the dis-ease in their womb, and there's many
mm,
different kinds, but if you're carrying that around, that's your body trying to tell you something's going on, something's not right.
yeah,
You need to fix it because that's your creative center, right?
yes,
So if
yes,
if that has
literally.
disease, yes, right. So imagine your creative center having disease.
Mm,
What does that say in your life? When you look at that, I bet you'll see some other patterns in other areas of your life that aren't being as creative, and you're not manifesting the things that you want, because it is really connected. Our bodies, like you said, we're spiritual beings because our bodies are so perfectly designed to
yeah.
tell us when things aren't right.
But do we listen? That is the question. Oh, we pop a pill. Oh, we go to substances. Or we start going in the blame and the shame, or the I'm not worthy. So we go through all of those emotions before we get to the one that says, well, really, all you need to do is change directions.
Yeah, totally. And think about that. Like, if I am in control and I have full control, that's the other thing. Like, you need to keep telling yourself that I am a creator,
Hmm.
that I can. And we only think of it in the sense of women as, oh, I create, life,
Yeah.
I create a baby. But no, you are a creator. So when you take on that power and you stop and think and be like, okay, this isn't working. How do I fix this?
Yeah.
How do I course correct? How do I change that? And I use the womb as a guide, as really telling me if things are working. Because, like, when she's peaceful, I know that things are going on right. And like we said about the chakras in there, when they're aligned, things are going on right. And I'm able to create with ease. Because think about it as a woman. If you're having pain down there, can you really function in your
Right.
day?
Yeah. Yeah, I always say that I get bombarded all the time with people wanting me to join things and do things, etc. And I always go, if my core is in agreement, I'll look into it. If my core isn't, and really, the core is just kind of here where the womb is,
Yeah.
right? It is the generator. It's our energy generator, our creator generator. And if it's not functioning properly, then you don't have your guidance system in full operation, and that's when you start making decisions that aren't good for you.
Drama, drama,
Yeah.
drama,
Mhm.
drama.
And the whole
Yeah.
violins come out. Yes. And it's not the kind of orchestra we want. We everything about life is a rhythm, isn't it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, that is so good. Oh my goodness. There's a Native American. I'm a very spiritual person. You guys will hear that as I talk, but there's a Native American belief that realistically we as women are there to carry the energy of our families,
Mm.
right? We're the nurturers. We're there to carry it. And our cycle is a way of us, carrying it, and then we release.
Mm.
So every month we are meant to release all of that energy, not just the blood that we release, but energetically. That is our time to kind of decompress, to get rid of all that. If you notice, we always say women are so emotional during that time.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
reason, because that's our time to release. So the emotions have come up for us to release. So then our next cycle, we can help out and support the family again, because we all know when we're full, we can't really, if we're full of negative stuff, we can't help other people. But when we release and we have an empty cup where we can take things in again, we're renewed, we're restored. And that's the way that flow is. So like you say, we're built in a flow.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
talk about tides and moon
Yeah.
cycles.
Yeah.
We are totally built in flow.
And our cup, when we're full, runneth over because we can't help but share. Right, because that's who we are, naturally within ourselves, is to want to share. You can't wait to share. Have you seen, did you hear, have you tried, you've got to see this. So, we're very enthusiastic about sharing, and when we're in that positive energy, it's very intoxicating and it's very igniting. And so you can through your exuberant energy, ignite another heart and soul, wake them up. You know, oh gosh, what is this feeling? I haven't felt this before. This feels good. You know, hold on to that feeling, nurture that feeling, and honor it. Right? Please honor yourself.
Oh my gosh, honor is such a big deal. It is such a big deal. You know, it's interesting as women, you know, I'm going to go back to this analogy because it's prevalent for a lot of people. If you have children, right? You want to teach your children how to take care of themselves and be the best self they can be. But do you do that?
Yeah. Where's the
You know?
example?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. Children listen to what we do, not what we say.
Yes.
You
They
know?
never listen to what you say.
No, no,
Yeah.
they do not. So if you want your child to be the best self, have the best self-esteem, all of that, you have to be that example. And self-care, self-love is that example. Because you're teaching them, take care of yourself first. Like we're on the airplane, right? Put the
Yeah.
mask on yourself first. And because you're full, and then you can give, like you said, your cup runneth over when you fill it up with the right things. And so self-love is so important. And womb, we don't, you know, we don't do womb care. We're not
No.
kind of taught in a lot of cultures, a lot of traditions, we're not taught womb care. And that's so, oh my gosh, so special. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but there's what I'm trained in as a practitioner as steaming. And it literally is kind of like the simple term of it is like, you know how you have a tea and you put all your herbs in it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, literally, we kind of sit over that pot of steaming herbs,
Mm.
and the energies and all of the nutrients of those herbs go into our womb. And it is like, you know how you have a facial and you put your steam on? Well, it's the same thing for your womb. How loving and kind is that? You know, the place of birth, if you take care of that and love on that, imagine what you would get back.
I think one of the things we've got to not think of is just as a womb as a manufacturing plant,
Yes.
right? Now,
Yes.
you know, I have a daughter right now who's pregnant, first pregnancy, you know, first grandchild. And when someone is pregnant, we're inclined to look after them more. They're inclined to look after themselves more because they're carrying and making this child. It isn't once the child is born, you forget yourself. It's back to the oxygen, right? If you are depleted, then how are you going to look after that child? Because it's not just the carrying and the making of the child where you need to give the loving care. That loving care of you needs to be there all the time because the child is reliant upon you.
Absolutely. That is so accurate because think about that. We are, you know, like we just talked about that foundation. We
Mm-hmm.
are those nurturers. We are those caretakers. And that womb is that place that births that.
Yes.
You know, it bursts that all the time, not just the baby, but it bursts that energy. So if that womb is not healthy, it affects everything. Think about it, like you talked about with your husband and having to do that duty,
Mm-hmm.
right? That impacts you and how you feel and your womb.
Yes.
And and so if your womb is not healthy, and let's say you're in a loving relationship, well, you're not going to want to have intercourse. So now that's impacting your
Yeah.
relationship. If you have pain down there and you have a family to take care of, well, now you're out for the day or however long that is, you're not able to take care of it. If it feels kind of weird, then your mood feels weird. You
Yes.
know, just a
Well,
little simple thing.
yeah.
So you're not at your best. It's telling you, pay attention. Something's going on.
And don't always just assume it's something physical.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to understand that, like, you know, cancer is 80% emotional disease. And when you talk about dis-ease, well, diseases come from dis-ease.
Yes.
And many, many different new diseases like fibromyalgia, etc. I have that came about at the end of my marriage, where it set in motion then
Mhm.
through the disease that I was in, the guilt of wanting to leave, right, and the
Yeah.
you know, still children at home, and am I being selfish? And
Yeah.
you know, should I just suck it up? And all of that, and then my body just started breaking down because I wasn't paying attention to it.
Yes.
And so if you've got those signs that are there, please pay attention. Don't wait until everything breaks down.
Absolutely. And there's another component that I'm going to take this slow because this is so powerful. when we talk about energy, right, that impacts our body, think about as women, unlike men who create sperm throughout their life, right?
Yeah.
We as women are born with all of our eggs inside of us. And they just grow and they get nurtured as we grow and then they deteriorate as we get older.
Right.
But think about that. So we have all of our eggs inside of us. So all of those beings that could possibly come to life are in us. We are in our mother's womb. And we're in our mother's womb when she's in her mother's womb.
Right.
So we're getting the energy from our grandmother, whatever she was going through when she was pregnant. We got the energy from our mother. So all of that transcended, even before you had a chance to say your first word.
Right.
You were infused with all of that energy. So sometimes people, they grow up or they're in their early 20s or something, and they're feeling this kind of like, I don't know what this is. Nothing has really gone on yet.
Yeah.
We have the energy of our parents and our grandmothers as women. We're that only being that carries that because we felt it. We felt the grandmother pain. So remember that generation. If I had a grandmother who went through the Depression,
Mm-hmm.
I was in my mom's, womb, dealing with these things, that energy of living through that.
Yes.
So we are so connected and tied that sometimes we don't even realize how that wearing and tearing on the body, some of it even came from. Some of it is our choices, but some of it's energetic.
Yeah. 100,000,000% believe that it's not just our ancestral, but it's our past life energy as well that we carry with us. And
Yeah.
very often we just kind of feel, I just don't understand where this comes from. I don't understand why I'm afraid of this, or I don't understand why I feel so sad about this. And sometimes, if you have family, speak to them. Get them to open up and understand the difficulties. There is that show, Who Do You Think You Are? Where they go into their ancestral thing, and everybody comes out with like, wow, what that person went through, and my life is so much easier today, and that strength that they had, I feel I have in me. And it's a connection that we're looking for, but it's also an appreciation of the struggles that your forefathers have gone through and your past lives. I always say it's something you haven't cleared up in the present life, and it's going to go on and on and on until you do, however many lifetimes it takes. So clear your sugar now in this lifetime, so you don't have to give your next lifetime the same pain and anguish. So again, don't just think about the body and that this is the limitation. We have to look at all the multiple dimensions that we take within us, within our womb, within our cellular structure.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally an all-encompassing. We are
Mm-hmm.
very complex. We're
Yes.
so complex, and that's the beauty of us. It really is. And find ways to heal,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have to be complicated. A lot of times we go to doctors for our physical, you know, but where do you go for your spiritual and your emotional healing?
Yeah.
Where do you go for that? Because you need it. Like you really, like you said, it could be a past life, it could be some other energy. You need to go to someone and figure that out. Because you don't have to just deal. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't
No,
have to just deal.
there is no of this suffering in silence.
Yeah.
Those days have gone. Sorry.
Yes.
That melodrama is obsolete. Now it is like, I am feeling discontent. Where is that discontent coming from? Who do I go to that can hear me, that can
Yeah.
see me, that can help me unravel this, clear it, understand it, so I can be liberated from it?
Absolutely. Positively. One of the things I tell women, even when I work with them in other areas and we're not doing necessarily womb work, is have you had a bath?
Mm,
Because remember, water, most of our
yes.
body is mostly water anyway,
Wonderful
but
conduit and water, right? Oh,
lovely
amazing.
because it teaches
Mm,
us flow again.
yeah.
It goes back to all of the things. Water is a great purifier. And even though, yes, it'll clean your body, but spiritually. And I call it a spiritual bath. Go in the bath, create this amazing atmosphere, whatever that looks like for you. Because remember, your internal guidance system is connected to the divine, so you know what you need most of the time, if not all the time. Sometimes we don't know because we're blocked,
Yeah.
but most of the time you know. So if you go in there and you're like, you know what, I feel like roses. You know what, I feel like this scent. I feel like, yes, that is exactly what you need. And sit there and put a journal to the side. Maybe you want some music and write it out. Ask for clarity.
Yes.
Ask for
Yes.
healing, ask for guidance, like where do I go to solve this problem? And you might just get a hit. Well, this name or this thing came up, and then Google,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
wonderful tool.
Pay attention to the signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
For, I don't have a bath here, I have a shower, but I love getting into the shower and just letting the water rain down on me. And it's kind of washing away my anxiety. And very often I'll do tapping while I'm
Oh,
in the shower,
love
because
it.
I find tapping in the water, it's just, it just vibrationally, exponentially, it's so much more. And that water is a cleanse. The other thing for me is wind. I
Oh,
love being out in a breeze and a wind, and it's just blowing it all away. I give it to you, wind. Take it away from me, right? And so water and wind, and if you look at the current of the sea, everything is in flow. And where we get hung up and where we have problems is when we become stagnant. And
yes.
so we have to go, what's blocking our flow? And talking about our chakras, I did a show a few years ago, which was fascinating, um, on the clairvoyant chef. And it's if you are craving a certain vegetable of a particular color, that's generally that chakra that needs to be fed. And one of the reasons to eat a very well balanced vegetable diet with all these different colors is also to feed your chakra, right? Because we also feed visually as well as we do vibrationally.
Oh, absolutely. We totally are always giving, our body's always giving us signs to keep us healthy.
Yes, yes.
It
It's all
always
there.
tells
Are we
us.
listening?
Right.
That's the biggest problem. I will get people say, how many people listen to your shows? And I say, all those that are ready to hear.
Yes.
Because all I can do, I've got a library here. Come in and cruise, pick out the show that you feel you need to hear, but you've got to listen to it.
Yeah.
Nobody can force you to. So when you know that you feel you're ready, what can I do? Well, I have people like you here who are sharing exactly what they need to do. You're not there to do it for them. You're there to give them their kit on
Yes.
their journey of life, right?
Absolutely. We're guides. That's all we
Exactly.
are.
You have a
We're
map, have a map for them in a sense of when you get to this crossroads and you don't know how to make a decision, this is what you do to find out which way to go in the fork.
That's
Uh-huh.
right.
But you're not there to tell them which way to go. It's just to show them how they can navigate their own life with what skills and what tools.
Absolutely. You're the guru of your life.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all trying to achieve is how do I know myself better? How do I hear the signs? How do I know the signs? How do I stay on my path, quote unquote, which you're always on, but
Yes.
how do I stay on that path? How do I do it with ease? And to do that, you have to become the guru of yourself. And it is a mind, body, spirit thing.
Yeah.
If you leave one of those pieces out, oh yeah, you will definitely create the drama.
Right.
There's no question about it.
But you use the word ease. And I believe that as human beings, we've been taught that no, in order to have joy, you must suffer. Things must be difficult. You must sacrifice. You cannot have joy without pain and trauma. And I don't know who wrote that book. I want to burn it. Life will have its obstacles. Life will have its challenges. They're not there to flatten you. They're there to help you rise up from it with skills and tools and wisdom to take your next step. That's all it is. Consider it an obstacle course. But why do we have to grab hold of everything and become so suffragettes over it?
Oh, absolutely. I think we think there's this medal we're going to get if we suffer the most. Like I'm leading the course in
Yeah, I'm
suffering.
a gold medal in suffering. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And it's so not.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It is about when we're in alignment, once again, we can create ease.
Yes.
And we're here to create because here's the thing, the suffering becomes the hard way, of creation. Yes, like you said, we will have challenges, and you know what? We learn from them because what we look at and we say, "Oh, I don't want that anymore." And so we can make that be a suffering point, or we can let it say, huh, okay, I realize I don't want that. So let me shift and let me go do something different. Because now that's heightened for me what I do want. Like if you have poverty and you're like, oh, I don't want that anymore. Okay, let me find a ways to be abundant. Let me
Yes.
find ways to bring money into my life. So you can either suffer and say, okay, I'm just in poverty. I'm going to stay here forever. This is my plight. Or you can say, huh, I realize this feels uncomfortable. Let me figure out a different way.
And,
It's about
again, that goes back to the permission of we as women are constantly believing that we need to have permission to feel worthy.
big
No,
time.
we do not.
That's
The
right.
the only person that gives you permission is yourself. Nobody else has the right to give you permission. And your worthiness is the worthiness you place upon yourself. My mom always used to say that to me, and it took me a long time to get what she was saying.
Mm,
The value you put on yourself is the value that people would take you for.
that's
And it
good.
took me a long time to really understand what she said, because I was always bending into a pretzel to please everyone else and at my own expense. And I didn't have a high
Absolutely.
enough value on me. And I'm not talking the dollar sign, right? I'm talking
Yeah.
about my own inner worthiness. And it took a long time for me to stand in that worthiness and say, I am enough.
Oh my gosh. That's a powerful statement. That
Mm,
is so powerful. And you can tell, and I don't care what you say, but look at your world around you. I know for me, like when I didn't feel enough, oh my gosh, look at my relationships. Look how catastrophic and drama filled and how the people around me were devaluing me and
mm,
not not listening to my boundaries, even just
right.
simple things.
The
You
negative
know,
energy attracts the negative energy.
Absolutely. So I was not feeling worthy in any form or fashion, and my life was reflecting it. I don't care what your words say, your life reflects your reality of
Yeah.
what your core values are, what energy you're sending out. So you're
Yeah.
right. When you feel worthy, life changes.
We have to understand, we look at that radio sign, where it's the beep, 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 beep going out. That's us. Right? We are beep, 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 beeping all the time. And it's, what are you beeping? you know? And is this one to shatter people, because it's full of anger or angst or anything else? Or is it one that's invitational? Is it one that's
Mm,
uplifting?
mm.
Because you are going to attract what you put out. So if you want to attract better, rise up in your own existence and become that better that you're looking for.
Absolutely. And that's perfect. Here's the thing, and we're taught this, unfortunately, as a society and women, that we want somebody else to come in and
Yeah.
treat us like queens and
Yes.
goddesses and all
Yes.
that. But when you ask women, what do you do for you? Um, um, but if you're not treating yourself this way, how can you ask somebody else to do it? You know, if you
By
don't
example
value,
again, right?
yes,
Everything's by example. Don't do what I tell you to do. Do what I do for myself,
yes, yes. Because that's translates even especially in our intimate long-term
Yeah.
relationships, right? Because on the surface when we meet people everybody's dating and everybody's wonderful, but when you're in that intimate relationship, if you don't value yourself, if you don't treat yourself well, it's going to show up, it's going to play out, and your partner may definitely not may definitely will mirror that for you.
Or
you
take
know
advantage of that. And that's
oh
the
my
thing,
gosh.
for some people, you get the statement, you're not the woman I married. No, we evolve. Right, we
Yeah.
change. If that's I'm not the 20-year-old. I'm 30
Thank
with
God.
kids or 40 with this and 50 with that, and it's like we evolve. And you're going to in a relationship where people may evolve at different times, and so the
Mhm.
partner needs to be supportive during that time while you're in your self-discovery, right?
Yeah.
And guide you and love you, and just maybe even say sometimes, I love you, but I don't particularly like what you're doing right now. Be open and honest, open dialogue. Don't look upon it as somebody's macheting in you. They
Mm.
are just being honest
Yeah.
about where you're at right now, because then you have a reflection back of something you can fix. But if you're in a relationship where they don't want you to grow, they
Mm.
don't want you to be independent, they don't want you to be yourself abundantly because they're afraid you'll leave them,
Yeah.
right? And they're suppressing you down. Why are they suppressing you down? It's for themselves, not for you.
Oh, absolutely. It is totally personal. It's not something that's for your good sometimes. And that's where that discernment and the energy in the body comes in.
Yes.
Because your body and your energy and things like that will keep giving you clues, just like it gives you clues when there's dis-ease. It'll give you clues about your relationships and the emotional stuff.
And I think another thing we need to look at is an awful lot of people, especially if they are in relationships or, do have younger children, um, even in work, with their work, they're scared to change it, especially obviously during this entire environment right now. Jobs are, obviously gold, but it's the worthiness that you put on yourself is obviously the worthiness that people are going to take you for. But it's this constantly bending to other people's will instead of the will of ourselves because we're scared to rock the boat. We're scared we may lose the job. We're scared we may lose the husband or the boyfriend. We're scared that we may lose friends. And I know that when I went into my own self-discovery, I said to everyone, because I was always their counselor, I'm sorry, folks, I can't be there for you right now. And if you want to be there for me, understand I'm going in through a transition. And this transition is my own self-discovery at the present moment. And this is where my energy is going to be. I'm afraid I can't share it with anyone else. And I got accused of being selfish. And I said, yes, I am. I'm being selfish. I need to be selfish for me right now because I can't continue giving when there's nothing coming back to me.
That's it. That's it. And that's wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's real wisdom. When we realize that, wait, I'm not my best self. I
Yeah,
don't care what you try to pretend to do. If you're not your best self, meaning you don't feel worthy, you're not in good health, your energy is not right, there's no way in the world that you can give like you're supposed to, or
right.
that you can serve or be there as an example for anyone else. You've got to take care of yourself first. And that's so beyond being selfish, it's self-care.
Yeah.
It's the self-care that we need to do. And that is so important and critical for our success, for thriving.
That again, I don't know. I think the younger generation, maybe today, maybe is more, I'm not going to be the sacrificial lamb my parents were, right? I'm going to speak out. I'm going to say what I like and I don't like. And I think we see more of that in our younger generation. Good. I'm glad, because we don't want you to go through the breaking down of everything and then as a phoenix trying to rise up again. Prevention is better than cure. So if something doesn't feel right, your core does not feel right, you do not need to have the cosmic 2x4 to realize there's something wrong and that you need to pay attention to it. This is the time to go in and go, where is this coming from?
Absolutely. Perfectly put, Sarah. Totally, totally, totally. And I have girls that are in their 20s, and it is really cool to see them be more enlightened than I
They're
was.
your girls?
Yeah, I'm
You
about to
only look
be
20 yourself, my darling. When
I'll
did you
take it.
start
I'll
at
take it.
two?
Oh, I will so take it. No, I will be 50 next year.
You've got to be
So,
kidding. No
no.
way. I would have put you in your 30s.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I will totally take that.
You're obviously doing
Absolutely.
something right.
Yes. And it is that thing of, we're learning. So hopefully, like you said, that next generation can just take it on. That doesn't have to do like, please don't pick up my struggle. Pick up my
Right.
positive things, like pick
Yes.
up the joy, pick up the
Yes.
other stuff I've learned with the wisdom. Leave that other stuff. Let's break the chain. Let's
That
break
is
the chain.
that's the whole thing. We've got to understand that our ancestral, DNA, our womb DNA, our past life DNA is patterning that's going on that we haven't recognized needs to be severed, needs to be stopped. And yeah, I look at the man that my daughter married, 100% opposite to her father in every way, you know, and they actually are the ones that told me to divorce. All right, they said, "Mom, this is enough." And I said, "But your children, no, 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 we're fine. We're fine. We've got each other." Right? And it's like, I would never have been able to say that to my mum and dad, although they should have divorced, He wouldn't have dreamt of it. But it's Why are we not giving our kids a voice? Because we've got to understand while we're going through that battle, it's having a negative ricochet on them. And for them to stand up and say, hey, I'm sorry, you guys shoot is affecting us. Either sort it out or split, right?
Absolutely.
And it gives the power to our children to have a voice as well, because they're seeing us from a different point of view to the way we're seeing ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When they're in their real clarity, they don't have all the baggage we have.
Right.
There's such things that they can see, and you know, we're all teachers. That's the
Yes.
thing. No matter what age, we can learn. I tell people all the time, we can learn from anyone. I used to work with people who were addicted to drugs, and some of them were sober and some were not. But I'm telling you, I learned from all of them.
Right.
You know, that wisdom, that divine wisdom comes through. Doesn't matter who you are, what age, what you've been through. If you're listening, that divine wisdom for you will come through.
You know, I always see people say to me, what have you learned the most out of doing all of these shows? I say, it's been the perfect therapy. I can't do shows with people like you without it benefiting me in some way or other. And that really comes to it, doesn't it? Is that there are people like you out there. You have a program out there. You've been doing this a long time. You know how to recognize the signs. You know how to help people navigate through it. And so we have to come to that point in our lives. Okay, I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to hear. I'm ready to connect with someone. That's the reason I do these shows. If somebody's listening to this today and they hear you, they feel your energy and it's resonated with them, then you now can work together because your energies have connected, right? This is a big, huge yellow pages here
Yeah.
going on right now, all right? And the thing is, we're not alone. But what's the first thing we feel when we feel at dis-ease, or the core isn't firing as the way it should, and we feel everything around us is crumbling, that we feel alone. And this is the time to, okay, maybe you can't turn to family or friends. They don't understand. They're going through their own stuff. This is the time to go into this library, to listen to people like you and go, there is somebody out there who knows what they're doing that can help me. I am no longer alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Your show is a beacon of light. You know, it really
Because I have
is.
a lot of light bulbs like you.
We're happy. You know what? And it is a joy. It's
Mm,
an honor. I tell my clients all the time, it's an honor, you know, to you inviting me on this on your journey. You
mm.
know, that's an honor. That's a gift. Because like we said, we learn from each other. There's something
The
you're
best way.
doing, or I'm saying it to you, but I'm really saying it to me,
Yes.
you know, all the time that happens. And it's such a gift to be of service and to be the light,
Yeah.
you know, and hold my little piece, like you said, of this big vast beauty, this bold big light
Yeah.
like the sun.
You know, the thing is, you can only help people once, you know, they're willing to wise up to that energy and you connect. And you're there to help them with this part of their journey. And then when they go on their journey, it's not for them. I mean, sometimes they may just call you up and go, okay, I'm at another crossroads. I need help, right? Or they may meet other people along the way.
Mhm.
When we're looking at, I've interviewed an awful lot of psychiatrists or psychotherapists, and as one of them changed name to sacral therapy, you know, or to do with the sacredness of our therapy, because, you know, psychiatrists deal with the head and
Mhm.
they don't deal with the psyche. And we know that where the disconnect comes through is when our soul, heart, and spirit and mind are disconnected. Our body is a reaction of all of those four things. And if those four things are not ignited, are not functioning properly, our body is going to feel at disease. And we need to reach out to someone who's going to help us, you know, put ourselves at ease, or how to switch those ignitions on. Because once they're there, this is the knowledge. This is the knowledge bank, the head. But the soul is the divine message. It's the channeling of the wisdom that resonates with the heart, that goes to the spirit into action, where the mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. That is your chakra alignment. That is your core womb in truth. And when you get there and you know how to get there, there is your guidance system, right? But you got to get there. And then you need somebody like you who shows them how to get there, how to align themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With, and I tell people with alignment, anything's possible. But when we talked about earlier about ease, that's the other piece. Like, that's what I really want people to understand is like when you have that alignment, things come with ease. There's not so much efforting. There's not so much energy. Yes.
Yes,
That
yes.
has to go out to do things. Like even when you work your job, even for those entrepreneurs I work with, realistically, when you're in alignment, something you thought would take 8 hours
Yeah.
now takes 5
Yes.
because it comes, you're in alignment, you're getting those divine downloads, you know what to do instead of thinking like, okay, wait, how do I do this? Can't find the paper, can't find this. No, 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 no. When you're in that alignment, you can cut down time. So now I've got more time to do more fun things, to do more enjoyable things, to refill the cup.
Right. And as you said, the womb is creative, right? How do we step into the creativity? We step into the womb love.
Yeah,
We step into the
absolutely.
chakras. The chakras for people who don't know. There's the crown chakra, the brow, the throat, the heart, the solar plex, the spleen, and the root, and that is our alignment. If it's the wiring, right? And if any of those wirings are not wired in properly, this ignition of our generator can't work. And so, but when we're in that, when we're in the zone, we're in the now, we're in that creative source, everything you need will be at your fingertips.
I
It will
totally
be there, right? You don't need to look for it. It's there. And you're in that creative juice and you're out of thought and you're in flow. And then you
yes.
can look back afterwards and go, wow, look at that. And that's because you allowed yourself to go with the flow and you didn't dictate.
That's it. That's it. You didn't let all the stuff get in the
Yes,
way, the fears, the anxiety, the old past stuff, the old
yes.
habits. Absolutely. Things come with ease, and you'll find that people will show up. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I feel like I need this. People show up, ideas show up, experiences show up. So you don't have to go searching for hours and looking. It's called attraction, right? We say the law of attraction.
Exactly.
It comes to you.
You will get the clients that need you
Yeah.
because that energy is there. I get people like you. I don't need to go looking. The energy beacon is already out there. I get energy like people to interview. So this it just expands on the energy, on the orchestra, right? With everybody's instrument being played. And so, I've had people say to me, well, why don't you have people with more adversity? And I said, because we're a solution-based show. We can talk about the problem, but we're going to be talking about the solution, because if we
So
don't address the solution, all we're doing is feeding the negative.
that's
So
right.
again, be mindful of what you're feeding,
Mm,
right? There isn't anybody that goes through life without some form of heartache, right? Yes, the heartache is because you've lost something, but go back in time to when you had it and realize the memory of it is always there, and nobody can take that away from you.
never, never, never. And it's so funny that you say that, because I lost my mom when I was like in my 30s. And that was really hard because I'm my mother's only child.
Mm.
So, and she was what I call my biggest fan,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I lost her, it was like I felt lost. I
Mm.
felt so disconnected from this world. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like the things I was doing, I was in social work for years, and I was like, okay, this doesn't feel good anymore. What do I want to do? And I was searching and searching. And until about, I'd say about 5 or 6 years ago, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went back to work and all this stuff, and I started this business. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this. And, I was mulling around for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, I started thinking about my mom. And I was like, okay. And I remembered when I went through her stuff after she passed away, you have to go through the stuff, you have to sort it. I found this folder. And in this folder, my mom had been a teacher for 20 some years. She was a special ed teacher and she loved it and she was really good at it. But I open up this folder and there's all these business ideas
Mm.
and notes next to them of things that she wanted to manifest and never got a chance to do it. So I call it her folder of dreams.
Mm.
And when I thought of that, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help people not pass away with a folder of dreams, but help them manifest it now.
Yeah.
Now.
We don't want that big word as people cross over, the big word regret. I regret I did not.
Mhm.
We want people to go, it's okay for me to go home. I've done what I came here to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to do that, like you were talking earlier, from that place of alignment. That's how we get things done.
Yeah. Yes. You can't do it out of balance. You can't, because again, going back to the chakras, going back to into the core, the womb core, the clarity comes in that alignment, in that flow, right? It's when the rivers and the waters and the wind is all in flow, things are in movement. Do you want an idea to move and manifest into something? Then it needs to flow in through that creativity into something that is actual. And it can't do that if it's got to go through a maze where it's going to have blockages and cul-de-sacs and everything along the way, right? So we owe it to our own creativity, to our own ideas, to our own possibilities, to allow everything to have a flow. And the other thing is, do not say to yourself, but who do I think I am to do this? Right? If you were given this vision, you were given it for a reason, because the divine knew that this was your gift to use, to learn, to share. Don't question that.
Absolutely. And only you can do it.
Right.
Your way.
Yes.
It's your way. So don't, like, I'm not like this. You're not supposed to be. That's the misnomer that we've been trained, like in school. You got to act, everybody's got to act this way and do this with thing.
Nice little box.
Yeah. That's not, we are unique.
Yes.
All unique. So when you have your message, it's uniquely for you to deliver, because you have people connected to you that need to hear it and only will receive it from you.
Right. I very often think, because I'm an analog person, that I'm that old to remember actually turning the channel, turning the knob.
Yep,
and,
I do too.
Back and forth until you get, the exact one. And now everything is digital and it jumps to it. And, I'm a Harry Potter fan, the train station 9.5, and it's like, look to what's in between. Turn that knob until you're channeled right in. Don't just go, well, I can only get this and I can only get that. Well, use something else to hone in on exactly what it is you're meant to be doing, because it's not always clear until you are willing to walk forward to meet it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all on this hero's journey.
Yeah.
So, and the hero's journey isn't 1 step or 3 steps. No. There's a lot of little stuff. There's challenges. It calls it challenges and tests and things.
Yes.
For us to really get clear. And that's how we find our uniqueness in that. Because we all can say, oh, I've been through this experience. Yeah, but my experience went like this and yours went like this. And I learned this piece, but I learned this piece over here. All of those things are creating this unique individual that has this unique gift to give to the world.
Unique, folks, not comparison. Yes. You may do the same thing as other people, but you do it in your way. Oh, are you trying to be an Oprah? I said, no, Oprah's Oprah. She's taken. I'm Sarah. I'm Sarah. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm somebody's strong cup of black coffee. I'm Sarah. This is Sarah's style. Take it or leave it. This is Sarah's style. I may admire and be inspired by somebody else and what they do. But at the moment you try to mimic what somebody else does, you lose your own uniqueness, right? You are meant to do it your way, because that is what you are fulfilling, that void out there. You're speaking to the people who are tuned into your channel. Don't try and switch channels on them.
No. And that's the only way you can be the light.
Yes.
Right? Because if you try to be something else, your light dims and the attraction dims.
Yeah.
So you're once again, you're blocking that ease.
Yeah.
You're blocking that ease.
And we want that ease. The ease is when you're in flow. When you're in knowingness. Well, how do you know those things? I don't know. I just know what I need to know when I need to know it. I don't need to go back and dissect it and validate it. It is what is needed in this moment. That is working with the spirit. Not trying to have one up on the spirit. Not trying to intellectualize the spirit. But just working with the spirit. And when we work with it in flow, that's when things really get the green light to go.
And it's beautiful. Because also, too, what will happen is it creates something that we didn't even envision could be that beautiful.
Yeah. I always say that, I do my own shows every week where sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I'll just press the button and whatever comes out and I'll go with that.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes it's something that, I need to address that. And that's where it is. But it's always whatever comes out because it's what needs to come out of me at the time. And very often as I'm saying it, I'm listening to it and going, really?
Mhm.
And that is those creative juices going in flow. And again, is that we don't want you to paint by numbers. We want you to have this beautiful canvas there, right? And just have every color around you, and then just blindly pick a color and start painting that canvas, and then take off the blindfold and look at what you've done. That was spirit painting with you, right? It's very often our own intellect will get in the way.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have to shut up this little noggin up here and listen to the heart, soul, and spirit, because their intellect is far more divine and pure than our head is.
Oh, absolutely. Totally is. I call our head, it's like that ego, it's
Mm,
there for protection. It's not
mm,
there for growth.
mm-hmm.
And that's the problem sometimes. We go to the wrong source within us
Yes,
for the
yes,
information. So
yes.
if you're going to the one that's supposed to protect you and keep you safe in the box when you're trying to create, it will absolutely positively stop you.
Hold on to your feet and stop you from flying out, right? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
But what if? But what if? And I say, sit on the butt.
Yes.
Right? Instead of what if, go, what if it does work? Right? Change your tone. Change your
Yes.
tone.
Yes. Spend time with a dreamer inside, you
Mm,
know. Spend time with a dreamer and then feel it, because that one that keeps you stuck and keeps you blocked and held down, it's a horrible feeling. And that's your cue that, oh, something's not right. I need to shift. Because it
yes.
doesn't make you feel good. So why are you spending so much time there?
Right. Right. Why are we? And a lot of time when people say, I'm not a creative person. I don't have that kind of imagination. Your creativity and your imagination may come out and manifest in another way. Maybe you're a very orderly person, right? You are very structural. All right. Your creativity will come out in the way things need to be structured and organized in a way that becomes more efficient for people. That's still creativity.
Yes, absolutely. Remember, we're unique.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to look the same. So we may use words that we all kind of have the same meaning for, but it's not going to manifest the same.
Right.
It's going to be so different. And we get to play, have
Mm,
fun with this. Like, there are certain things that are absolutely positively serious, but there's so much more that we could have fun with if we're in flow.
yeah. And
Yeah.
if we enjoy, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then it's telling you to change directions. And
Oh my gosh.
anytime somebody says, oh, this door got slammed on me, or this came to an end and I don't know what to do. And I said, it's simply a redirect.
Yeah.
You take all the skills that you've learned from what you've been before, and now you allow your dreams to come forth and
Yes.
apply those skills to that dream and go wandering and explore what options are above you. Don't get panicked in the now of, what do I do now? What do you do now? You suddenly have freedom to choose
Absolutely.
another path.
And it's funny because we all say we want freedom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes, it's like,
What do
wait a
I do
minute.
with this?
Yeah.
Because we're used to being told what to do from the second
Absolutely.
we're born, right?
Oh my
Don't
gosh,
do this,
yes.
don't do that, don't do this,
Yes.
don't do that. You must do this. You've got to conform. You should
Yeah.
look like this. You should be that. And, it's throw all of that away.
Mm.
Be your own beautiful, wonderful,
Yeah.
eccentric, whatever you are self,
Yeah.
because we need your joy of living, your exuberance of life, your beautiful gift of purpose. We need that in the world. So please break down those walls and step out in wonderment.
Absolutely. That's perfectly put. We do. We just need you.
Yeah,
We need you more than you ever will realize sometimes.
yes.
Because all of
And
us get in
especially
that
now,
trap.
in the now, in where we're at, in this time of space in the world, we need the creators, the wanderers, the explorers. We need you because you are that positive energy that's going to shift everything around.
It's calling you.
It
That's
is.
it. That's it. Your calling is there. It's nagging at you. I know those people, it's nagging at you right now. You're wondering why because all this chaos. But let me be clear. The universe is telling you now. Start now. And you don't have
Yes.
to know all the steps. You don't have to
No.
know how to figure everything out. You just got to take one. Just
Yeah.
one. That's it.
Yes. You know, if you watch like the celebrity dancing, they're doing tangos, they're doing this, they're doing that, and then they do a freestyle, right? And you normally find the freestyle is when they're really in their flow because suddenly it's their steps. They're in tune with the music. It's not a step that somebody else has dictated they should do this way. And you can see, you know, the complete flow from it. And don't let limitations get in your way. We've all got obstacles. And I'll use that as an example. There was a deaf guy on the show. He didn't feel the vibration from the ground of the music. He felt nothing. You know, he heard nothing, but he tapped into her emotional energy, and he danced to the sound of silence. It every time I watch it, it just tugs at my heart. He went on to winning the competition because he looked at another channel to relate to and didn't go, well, I can't hear it, so how can I dance it? He
Right.
felt it and he danced to the feeling. Hallelujah.
Right. That's the power.
Yeah,
That is that guidance system that we've
yeah.
been talking about. That
Hmm.
can it can change things because like you said, if you just saw the surface, deaf man, can't hear vibration. Oh no, sorry, can't be on the show.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Feeling.
yes.
It changes the game.
And you know, I think also our veterans have done a lot for us I mean, because so many have come back with limbs missing.
Hmm.
I've had a Bobby Hen line on here a few times. His Hummy blew up, killed all his buddies, and burnt his scalp right down, lost part of his arm. But he became a comedian as a way of getting through it, right? And the veterans are there for the other veterans. And despite what they've gone through, they're there to uplift and help
Yes.
their other fellow veterans and anybody going through post-traumatic stress, you know,
Yeah.
go through it. And they have become the beacon of hope.
Yes.
And don't people don't look at them and go, you know, oh, you're so crippled you can't do. They look at, wow, look what you can do.
That's
So
it.
don't use an excuse of, you know, an obstacle that you have to not do something. There's
Mhm.
always something that you can do that will be an inspiration to someone else.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, we have to be the example.
Yeah,
You know, if
yeah.
we're living in alignment, we're automatically going to be an example, and we won't even realize how many people we'll touch or the impact we're really going to have.
And we may never ever know, you know,
Yeah.
inspiration begets invitation. When you
Yeah.
inspire someone, you're inviting them to step up in their own lives. Well, if she can, I can. And you know, how many people listening to the show today, I just go, you know, womb, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were just for baby making. And, you know, I am now going to listen to you and honor you because you are my core.
Yeah, that's it. And that's crucial because that will change your life. Just a little thing. And because you're, once again, what are you doing? You're showing love
Yes.
and you're getting yourself in alignment so that you can manifest and create what you want with ease.
You can give birth to love over and over and over again when it
Yes,
comes from the womb.
daily, minute
Yeah.
by minute.
Yeah. And not be exhausted by it.
Right, exactly. It's the one relationship where it's probably easier to you don't have to compromise so much.
Right. But you know, if you look at the womb and actual of birth, birth is excruciatingly painful. Uh, but the moment that child is put into your arms, you have forgotten every single bit of pain that was ever there.
That's
So,
it.
whatever struggle you're going through right now, you're just in labor.
Yeah,
Once you give birth to yourself and
yeah.
you hold yourself in your own arms and you feel the love of yourself and all that love that you have to give, every bit of struggle is worth it.
Yes, absolutely. It totally is. It changes your life because you realize I have the power. I can do this. I have what it takes. Like we talked about earlier, filling that cup. I
Yeah.
have what it takes to fill it. You know what I mean? And I have control over then how the rest of my life looks,
Don't look
how
for
I play
someone
that
else to
role.
fill it. It's not somebody else's job,
Mm-mm.
right? It's somebody else to guide you on how to fill it for yourself, which octane to use,
Right.
but it's you that's got to fill it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then how powerful will you feel as a woman?
Yeah. And then, that is a perfect segue into this program that you're doing with Dr. Shelley Neglo. Tell us about that and what that entails and how people can be a part of that.
Sure. Yeah, it's the power of feminine sexuality. And it really is a compilation of three of us coming together, which is really, really cool because you rarely get that. You normally get like one person and their specialty. But you get Dr. Shelley Negalo, you get Barbara, you get myself, and Barbara's a nurse. So you're going to get the medical perspective because she owns a medical spa and how all of that works. So you'll get the full mechanics of the female body. You will also get from Dr. Shelley Negalo years of practice of working with women, of really helping them transcend their lives. And I mean on a spiritual level and an emotional level, and how to make that permanent, that transition. So you stop those old habits from doing that. And from myself, you get what I call that whole mindset conversation that happens. How do we clear that up? How do we believe differently? How do we do things differently so that behavior changes?
And
How
how
do
do you
we
collect
love
your
on that?
womb?
Yes, and how
Yes.
do we love on that womb and make that be the creative space? So yes, are we going to talk about the act of sex? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's so much bigger than that. And that's what we want women to understand, that you're so much more, and you don't realize how that feminine power can impact your life, because we've always been, oh, feminine means small, it
Yeah.
means soft, it means, you have no idea the power that you possess. And so that's what we're going to teach you, is how to use your unique power, because it's all different for all of us, our femininity, what that looks like, but how to use that and harness that to create the life that you absolutely love, that you are excited to wake up to in the morning. And when things and challenges come, like you said, Sarah, it's like, okay, this is here. So how do I fix this? How do I solve it? You don't just break down and fall apart. You have tools and techniques that you can use that will trickle out in all areas of your life. So it's so important.
Before you get to the URL on that, why do we call Wonder Woman Wonder Woman? Because she is a wonder, and her strength and her abilities and her persistence and her dignity and everything. We could be those Wonder Women. Right. And, where she needed to fight, she could fight. Where she needed to love and be compassionate, she was. But first and foremost, she had to be wondrous to herself. Right. That then you become the Wonder Woman. So, don't wonder if you're a woman. You are a Wonder Woman. Just
That's
become
it.
it.
That's it. And right now, here's the thing, for the holidays, we know the holidays are about to approach. So for us women, that means a lot of things.
Yes.
We go into mode, whatever mode that looks like in your family traditions. But what we're designing now, because we're going into holiday mode, is fun. Ways to, what we talked about, fill that cup up, right? So we're going to give you pieces of this program in small doses, but a fun way. So when you come here, it'll be like a girls' night out where you get rejuvenated. You'll learn some things, but we're going to have so much fun. And so if you're interested in that, if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to need some days, I'm going to need a couple of hours throughout this period of time where I can rejuvenate and have fun and learn about my power and step more into that, so you can have ease during this season.
Yes, not get lost in the duty of it, right? But in the
Yes.
fun of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. I want you guys to send me an email, because we're doing this and we want to keep the group small. So it's going to be, because we want it to be intimate, so that way you feel comfortable if there's something going on that you can share.
Yeah.
And it's a sacred place. So you can send me an email at info@lashondaherring.com.
Can you spend Shonda Herring for those that are listening, love?
Absolutely. So it's LASHONDAHERRING.com. And the first part is info@. So yeah, definitely shoot me an email, say, hey, LaShonda, I'm interested. Let me have some of the details to see if it fits for you and works out for you.
Right. And what about your own network and your own program that you do individually?
Sure. So for me, it's pretty simple, guys. My website is www.thehzone.net. And there you guys can link up. You can send me a message. You can sign up for my weekly blog that goes out. And I do kind of like where we talk about being authentic. I do my video blogs right after I work out. So you will not see makeup. You will not see the pretty. You will see me right after I finish working out and share some wisdom, because like you talked about, Sarah, with that wind, after that, being outside and doing the things I do, I have such clarity. So I just
Yes.
share from that space. So if you guys are interested in getting that information, definitely do that. I specialize in working with entrepreneurs, and helping them manifest those dreams. Like I said, my mom's folder of dreams, that's my focus. But I do special programs throughout the year just for women. I do ceremonies, and I love women's ceremonies, but we do sacred circles, things like that. So if you're interested, definitely get on my list.
And definitely, you know, speak to you about how do I ignite my womb.
Absolutely. I'm telling, it's life changing. It
Mm,
really is.
yeah. You know, when you had spoken about it, when we did a show on the program that you're going to be doing, which I will have here on your show page, and people can go back and listen to that because they can actually get a taste of all three of you together and what you're going to be doing. But when you mentioned about the womb, it was a ooh, light bulb, you know, and it was wow, you know, we talk about the womb as being the life source, you know, of being the creative. Look what it creates, another human being, right? But then we seem to dismiss the womb afterwards, and that's where we go, you know, fall down. It can continue to give birth, if not to another human being, but to creativity, to love, to just to your own equilibrium, to your own truth, right? So that core feeling I get that I can't go against, for me, I think it's the heart and womb in sync with each other. If it
Yes.
doesn't feel right, I can't do it because they've said no,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely. And we teach women that. Even when I work with my entrepreneurs, if they're females, we talk about business from a female perspective. How do you do that? And I incorporate the womb in that, because I think that's so important. It's so crucial for them to do their business from a space that's in alignment and that's in sync.
in sync. It's not just a boy band.
Right?
It's where we need to be, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So it is the hzone.com and
.net.
info.net, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
.net. I
Yeah.
haven't got the glasses on. And then info at lashondaherring.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so people can reach you out on any one of those. They can ask about the course that's going on right now or whatever else you're doing. Do you have like an intro where people can have a call with you for a few minutes just to see if there's a connection?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We talk about alignment, right? I
Mm,
don't take on any clients without connecting with them first to see if we're a right fit.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah, very rarely will you ever see me offer a program without having conversation with you, or just if you need resources.
Yes.
That's the other thing. I am available for a consultation for resources, because I may be the right fit, or you may have something that's not my area of expertise. So I want to make sure I give you guidance in the right direction.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is support and that's sisterhood as well. Right?
Yes.
Being able to,
Yes.
you know, I'm not, this is not my forte. So I'm going to guide you into another area,
Yeah.
another person, which is the way it should be. This has been a delight. Thank you so much, Lashonda. And some wonderful womb talk here for sure. And,
Yes.
you know, we're looking at a time in history where we desperately, desperately, desperately need everyone to step up. And, you know, we are the solution we seek. We are the peace we seek. We are the harmony we seek. We are the abundance we seek. We've got to understand it's all here within this vessel. And when we align with our spirit, with our divine, and when we channel that wonderful wisdom, we now have the skills and the tools and the uniqueness and the knowledge on how to use it. And it's don't be afraid of it. Let go of the old patterning. You know it doesn't work because you're unhappy. So just be willing to change directions, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, you are your guru. You can do this. I don't
Yeah.
care where you are in your life. I don't care what it looks like on the outside. You can go within and redirect and rechannel and get the guidance you need with ease. You are made to do
And you could end up glowing and looking 30 years younger than she should
it.
because of it, because she aligned. So remember, whatever you're doing when you're at ease and you're in enjoyment of what you do and you're really sharing and you're really having a positive impact, it will reflect on your life physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically in a very positive way. So that's another good reason to do it.
Absolutely. Totally. Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. This has been great. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it myself. So I'm so glad you could come along and share womb talk. And, you know, folks, please reach out to LaShonda, have a chat with her. Listen to the other show that we did with all three of them. Look into their program. Even as she said, they're doing it step by step and they're going to make it fun. You can have your glass of wine while you're doing it, right? This is what
Oh,
it's about.
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. It's not meant to be a heavy duty type thing, but it is revealing. You will have aha moments. You will have those moments of connection with self, with a memory, with an understanding of, oh, that's why that happened. And you will be able to make better choices for yourself because you'll be better equipped. So join the party and have some fun, and at the same time, liberate yourself, liberate your womb. All right. Until next time, folks, I wish you all well. Bye for now.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.